Hey guys, so today I have another speaker unboxing and overview for you guys to look at. So this is going to be another comparison video. I have two sets of powered bookshelf speakers in this video, and they both retail for around the same street price, I would say. So yeah, I got them both for around, I would say $400 US or $500 US, around this price range. Although the actual retail price for these is a bit more. For this one, start with this one, the Kef LSX. This one retails for far more actually. So I got this for $400 US. That's because the new model LSX2, actually even the revision of that, there's a new cheaper LSX2 model now out. But yeah, this is the older LSX model, the first generation, and the original retail price for this was like $1,200 US or something. So yeah, I got it quite a bit discounted because it's an older model now. So yeah, Kef, for those of you guys who don't know, Kef, I would say, is a reasonably famous speaker brand amongst audiophiles. They're a British speaker brand. They have a long history dating back to the 60s, and they're well known for creating speakers that have, I'd say, fairly accurate performance. So yeah, I haven't tried any Kef speakers before in the past. They're actually quite famous for having really nice high-end powered bookshelves like the LSX and LS50. So LSX is actually a smaller version of the LS50 and LS50 Metas. I haven't tried those before. So yeah, they're well known for having nice powered bookshelf speakers, wireless bookshelf speakers. Of course, the upper end LS50 wireless, like, that's a lot more expensive. So I was looking for just a nice compact powered bookshelf just for my bedroom. So yeah, I'm going to compare two speakers today. Both of these are like powered bookshelf speakers that are wireless and can connect with a lot of different music systems like Bluetooth and everything. And I'm just trying to decide which one is better for my bedroom. Okay, so this is the Kef LSX. Like I said, retails for $1,200 originally. I got it for $400, so nice discount. And yeah, I've never tried a Kef speaker before, so I'm actually really kind of excited for this one. I've heard a lot about Kefs. I just never had the chance to really try one. Okay, so these are in pretty good condition, all wrapped in the original box and everything. So it comes with the power cables right here. So if you look at power cables, it's interesting because I believe the Kef, these bookshelves, and the LSX, maybe the LS50 too, they use Ethernet cables to connect to each other. So that's really interesting. Usually you just see like speaker wires connecting to, you know, if you have a powered bookshelf speaker system, right, you have like a master and a slave. Usually you just have like, yeah, some kind of like speaker cable connecting each other, but for Kef's case, they actually use the Ethernet cable. I don't know how this works, but they use it. And then two sets of power cables, interestingly enough. I wonder why we need two. Usually for powered bookshelves, if you have one master, you just need one for the master, right? And the other one's just kind of like a passive that gets powered, but maybe in this case they're both powered. So yeah, I've seen that before. I mean, with my Kanto TUKs that I unboxed recently, it was one master speaker that was powered and then just powering the other one, which is actually passive. So maybe in Kef's case, they have two power cords because both of them are actually powered. That's interesting. So yeah, there's a few ways you can design powered bookshelves. Some of them go with the master and slave route, or one's powered and one's passive, but in this case they might be just both powered. Alright. These speakers are actually quite small. Despite their price, they're actually quite compact and small. So yeah, that's all in the box. And if we look at these speakers, these are the white versions. I would have liked to get some of the other colors too, but this is like the cheapest color I guess I could find. The other colors look nice too. I really like the blue and gold, for example. That's a really nice color. But yeah, or the copper version. I think it was like blue and copper. Like Kef has a few different colors they make their speakers with. Okay, these are designed by Michael Young, who's a very famous, I guess, industrial designer. Okay. So yeah, pretty nice looking speakers. They're like very compact speakers. So yeah, you can see the size of these speakers right here. Very compact speakers. Yeah, they're like, it's actually interesting. I don't know, like for Kef, they charge a high premium for their speakers, maybe because of their technologies. Especially if you look at these speakers, these use the UniQ driver array. which is something that's very proprietary to Kef. So that means you can see there's only one driver kind of cutout here, and inside the driver they put a tweeter here. So usually if you have bookshelf speakers, you have the tweeter up here and driver, the mid-range or woofer down here. But in Kef's case, they kind of combine it into one, call it a Uniq drivers, and that's proprietary to them. They charge definitely charge a premium for their technologies. I mean, if you look at the size of these bookshelves, you would not expect that they're originally over $1,200, but yeah, they are. Thankfully, I got it for much cheaper than that. So yeah, first of all, I have to comment, the appearance looks very modernish in contrast to the other speaker I'm going to unbox in this video, but this is more of a modern looking speaker. So it's very refined, modern, elegant looking speaker. The type you might see from a Danish company, I would say, from Scandinavian type companies. They usually have this nice clean design like Bang & Olufsen. So yeah, like the appearance, it's very compact. You can fit it anywhere. Take a look at the back. So in the back here, a few different connections, and yes, both of these have their own power cords, so they're both powered. So go over this one, the master. So this is still called the master. So it has a Bluetooth pairing button right here, MS pairing. I think this is just pairing the speakers in case you don't want to use the cable. Reset button, optical input, aux input, subwoofer output, network. So connecting, I think this can do like streaming right from your network. You can charge your phone using this. There's a USB out. And this is the wired connection to the other speaker with Ethernet. Very unique. Usually if you connect to other speakers, it's with a speaker cable, right, or wire, but they use Ethernet. So it's very interesting. And then this is the slave speaker, which just has the speaker connection, Ethernet connection, the pairing button, and the power. So yeah, the differences between this and the LSX2s are that so the LSX2s also have a USB-C output, so you can connect to your computer, which is pretty nice. This one, like the only way you can connect it to your computer with this one is with Bluetooth, or if you have a DAC that you're using with your computer, then I guess you can use a headphone out of your computer, maybe. Yeah, maybe you can use the headphone out and put it into the aux here, or if you have a DAC, right, then you can do that. But does not provide a good wired way to connect it to your computer. The other thing the new one has is HDMI eARC, so you can connect it to your TV, and your TV can control the speaker and also output HD audio. So those are the two main features I think this would be missing compared to the new LSX2s. Is yeah, no USB-C on this one to connect to your computer, and then yeah, no HDMI to connect to your TV. You have to use optical, which is not as good as HDMI eARC. But yeah, the LSX2s are like double the price, I think, if you get them right now. So that's why I had to go for this one. This is the first generation, $400. Yeah, if you get the LSX2s right now, even a used one, probably at least double the price, I would say. Yeah, really nice looking speakers. I don't think I would ever pay the original MSRP for them. But hey, if you can get them at a discount, they look pretty nice, very compact. You can fit them probably anywhere in your room. You can I think they will look nice paired up with your MacBook or just like Ultrabook, laptop or something like that, or iPad. Yeah, fits with a lot of different things, I think, because they're so compact and small, and apparently very performant, but we'll have to test that out. So that's it for the Kef LSX. I'll do the unboxing of the other speaker, and then we can compare the two. Alright guys, so this is the Klipsch the Fives. These are the speakers I'll be comparing the Kef LSXs against. So Klipsch is an American company that's well known for making a lot of different kinds of speakers. They've been doing it since the 1940s, and especially well known for making horn-loaded speakers. So they're kind of unique in that aspect. I also have owned a lot of different Klipsch products before in the past. If you guys can look at my previous videos, I've done a lot of different reviews on Klipsch products. I just love, first of all, I love the fact that they're in general fairly affordable. They're not like super expensive. Like sure, they might go into the $1,000 range sometimes, but in general most of their speakers are like around, I would say, $200 to like $1,000 basically. They have that range where it's a bit expensive, but it's not super expensive. And they look really good, and I think they perform very well for the price that you pay for them. They generally perform as well or outperform a lot of other speakers at their price point. So yeah, there's a lot of things that make Klipsch's very attractive to me. And also another thing is you can find them discounted online very easily. So the Kef LSXs, I would say the price range is about the same as the Fives. They're both around like $1,000 brand new, but I got the Kefs for a very good price, about $400 US actually, and I got the Fives for $500 US. So I got these both at really good deals. First thing you'll notice though, and it's very obvious, is that these speakers are a lot bigger. Kef LSXs, as you guys have seen, they're very compact bookshelf speakers. Now they sound good for their size and they're very compact, but the Klipsch the Fives are obviously, these are much bigger, more capable speakers I think in terms of the drivers and everything. So yeah, it's interesting that they are around the same price though, so that's why I'm doing this comparison. But in terms of the size difference, I mean, wow, the Klipsch's are, I don't know, maybe twice the size of the Kef LSXs. So it's interesting, but they're both powered and they're both around the same price, so I thought I might do that comparison anyways. So yeah, this is a very big box. You guys can see here it says the Fives powered monitors, legendary detailed dynamic Klipsch sound. Now for Klipsch sound, there's people that don't like Klipsch sound. They don't like the horn loaded sound, think it sounds too bright and stuff. Or harsh, but I've always liked Klipsch sound, at least for their price that they charge. I think it's fairly reasonable for the amount of sound quality that you get from them. I'm not saying that they're going to sound, you know, I'm not saying they're the best sounding speakers you can get, but definitely I think for their price range, I think they're pretty solid. Also, the Fives is kind of the middle of their powered bookshelf speaker line. So they also have two more models above this, the 7s and the 9s, which are even bigger and more powerful than these. But yeah, we're going to look at the Fives because this is pretty much around the price range I was looking at. And these seem just right for my bedroom, actually. Not too big and not too small for my bedroom. So yeah, and it has all the connections, you know, Bluetooth, record player, and HDMI actually as well. So let's take a look here. Okay, this is what you get inside the box. Oh, okay, so, man, a lot of cables here. Let's take a look at all these cables. Alright, so you get full-size HDMI cables here. So one thing about the Klipsch the Fives that the LSX doesn't have is a HDMI ARC connection. So you can connect it directly to your TV and have your TV control the speakers and also output you know, Dolby audio and everything in full resolution. So that's something that the LSX ones don't do. The LSX 2s do that. So the ones I got were the LSX ones because, you know, LSX 2s are way more expensive, even used. So yeah, I just want to point that out. In terms of the capabilities, you can find the Fives right now for around the same price as the LSX ones, except these have more capability. Yeah, the LSX 2s do have HDMI ARC, but they're also more expensive than these. So they also come with USB-B to USB-A connection. USB-B is just, I think, no, I don't actually know like if there's any technical difference between micro USB or USBs. Well, yeah, micro USB and USB-A, and then full-size USB-B. Certainly USB-C has replaced both of these, but I think for a lot of applications, I think for the more bigger audio components, they still prefer to use the full-size USB-B. Technically an older protocol, older port. Maybe that's just because it's bigger, so it's like a little bit more sturdy than a USB-C connection. Still would have been nice to have USB-C connection instead of full-size USB-B, but maybe they think that the connector is bigger, so it's a little bit more sturdier. Don't really know the reason why they stick with USB-B instead of USB-C, but yeah, that's just my theory. Power cord, of course, which there is only one power cord, so I'm guessing one of these are going to be passive and the other one's going to be powered. So it's not like the Kefs where both of them were powered. This is interesting. Is this some kind of proprietary cable between them? Okay, this is interesting, guys. So I'm not actually sure what cable this is. Seems like some kind of proprietary cable to connect the speakers. Never seen this cable before. It looks a little bit like XLR, but it's not XLR. I have no idea what these cables are. They seem proprietary to me. Never seen them before. Okay, so then you get the manual right here with batteries. And I think the batteries are for the remote. So yeah, the remote is right here. And these are pretty similar to the remote I've seen for Klipsch before. I also have the Klipsch the 3, so I'm pretty familiar with the Klipsch remote. This is fairly simple and easy to operate. You have a power button right here, play pause button, volume up and down, subwoofer up and down, mute, volume mute. And then I think this is to turn on the subwoofer, turn off the subwoofer. You can control your inputs here, Bluetooth, TV, which I guess is HDMI, aux, phono, USB, and optical. So pretty simple, easy to understand remote. So nice. And then let's take a look at the, pretty sure I don't really need to read too much of the instructions because they're power speakers, but should be pretty straightforward. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, I'll tell you what's inside the box and everything, which is basically what this video is right now. It's just showing you guys what's inside the box. Then the different connections on the back. I'll show you guys that in a bit. Also what the connections all do. But I think they should be fairly self-explanatory, right? Most of the connections. Setup and selecting the source is right here. And then, yeah, this is just going through the different connections here. So this is a little explanation for HDMI, ARC, and optical, I think. Yeah, optical. If your TV doesn't have HDMI, ARC, the older TVs, then you just use optical. Then connections for a computer, which is going to be using the USB-B connection, and turntables. This has a phono preamp in it as well, or phono stage. And then a remote instructions. And let's see, what else? Bluetooth, of course. I believe this supports, is it aptX HD? aptX Adaptive? I think it should be supporting aptX HD and Adaptive, but not aptX Lossless, because that's quite new. Subwoofer output, you can also adjust the dynamic bass EQ or something. So you can adjust the bass output. Equalization. Disable, enable dynamic bass EQ. Yeah, so you can, if you add more bass, you can do that. There's like a bass booster, I think, with the dynamic bass boost EQ, and then you have a factory reset. Okay, it's pretty all self-explanatory. All right, that's manual. All right, let's take a look. These are definitely bigger and heavier than the Kef LSXs for sure. I would say like maybe twice the weight and twice the size of the LSXs. Oh man. Really good condition. I got these for really a good deal because I got them for 50% off the retail price essentially, and they're pretty much brand new. Oh, there's grills here. Okay. Okay, take a look here. Oh, these are really nice looking speakers. Okay, this is the grill for this one. I don't think the LSXs did not have any grills, right? Yeah, I don't think that came with grills. The Klipsch come with grills though. So this is what it's like with the grill on. That one's magnetic. Yeah, these are pretty much brand new. Got them for such a good price. Okay, just like with the LSXs, except these really are brand new. I think the LSXs might have been a little bit more used, but yeah. These are what the Klipsch the Fives look like. Again, just with all of Klipsch's products, I love their appearance. Very vintage, mid-century design, I would say, 1950s, 1960s. Kind of evokes that type of aesthetic, which I really love. So all of Klipsch products, that's why I bought so many Klipsch products, like Klipsch the 3, right, looks really nice as well. But yeah, the Fives. These are not my first powered bookshelf speakers. I think I did a video before with the Klipsch R40 PMs, I think. Yeah, I had a pair of their powered bookshelf speakers before. I think it was the R40 PMs or RP40Ms or something like that. But anyways, these are much higher end compared to those ones. Those ones were just 300 bucks. These ones retail for 1,000 bucks originally. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys their specs. So, okay, so frequency response is 50 hertz to 25 kilohertz. So they don't exactly dig that deep, but that's to be expected because these aren't like bookshelf, really big bookshelf speakers. They're good, they're decent sized bookshelves, but they're not like massive bookshelves. And they're not towers either, so they're not going to dig super deep for the bass, but that's fine because I have a subwoofer anyways. The amount of power you can get out of this is 160 watts, so it's a pretty powerful amplifier inside of it. So it has a 1-inch titanium LTS vented tweeter. So actually, let's just take a look at that. So yeah, first of all, this is what it looks like with the grills on, and the grills look actually really nice from a mid-century type of design, and that's actually something to talk about because a lot of bookshelf speakers, when you put the grills on, it looks really boring. So I know with my like Martin Logans and maybe with my my Monitor Audios or Dallies, yeah, if I put grills on them, it just looks really boring. So with most speakers, I find that to be the case. My Neat Acoustics Ministra is the same thing. Like they just ship with grills that are just boring looking and bland looking. So you never really want to keep the grills on unless you want it to disappear into the room. If you don't want people to notice the speakers, then sure, keep the grills on. But in the Klipsch's case, the grills actually like it really looks nice. So I wouldn't mind even leaving the grills on these speakers, which is not something I usually say for bookshelf speakers. Like most companies, most speaker manufacturers, their grills, when they make them, it just looks really bland. But for Klipsch, these actually look really classy, even if you have them on. But yeah, let's take them off. You guys can see what they look like. So yeah, see, they look really good on or off. That's not something I can say about every bookshelf speaker, but these look nice with the grills on and also nice with the grills off. So 1-inch titanium LTS vented tweeter with track 6 horns. So the track 6 horn technology is something that Klipsch uses on most of their speakers, I would say. So that's their unique patented horn loaded technologies. It's pretty exclusive to Klipsch actually. So that's why Klipsch's always have a pretty unique sound, which some people like, some people don't like. A 4.5-inch fiber composite cone woofer here. So again, these drivers are not the biggest for bookshelf speakers. I have my Martin Logan 15s. They have 5.25-inch woofers. The pair of Monitor Audio Silver 100s I had before, I had 8-inch woofers. So these are definitely not like going to give you a massive amount of bass, but that's fine because yeah, I have a subwoofer anyways. And plus this is for my bedroom, not for my living room. I have bigger speakers, my Neat Acoustics Ministra for my living room. And yeah, it weighs about 11 to 12 pounds each. Of course, one is a passive speaker and one is a powered speaker. So it's not like with the Kefs where both of them are powered, but that also takes up 2 of your power ports. This one will only take up 1 because only one of them needs to be powered. Okay, so let's take a look at the controls actually, because these really do look nice. So there's only this one. This one has no controls. This is the master speaker essentially. But if you look at the way that they designed this, really looks vintage looking, right? Just look really nice. There are other colors. You can get them with copper accents and some other color variations, but this is the black version with the silver accents. So yeah, you can have you can select your input source here with this rotary dial, and then raise the volume with this one, right? This is the volume dial. It's just really cool to have this analog stuff on here. So it's much better looking than just like a typical dial that you find on other speakers. So yeah, this one, actually the Kefs don't even have any dials, but yeah, the Klipsch's definitely have these nice analog rotary dials, which look really nice. And if you look at the back here, also yeah, and you can see like which one you have selected. So there's TV, which is ARC, HDMI ARC, Bluetooth, optical, USB, aux, and phono. And if you look at the back, here's different connections here. This one only has the speaker connection, which uses that proprietary connector. Actually, I'm not sure if it's proprietary. Maybe someone knows the name of this connector, let me know. So then, here's the back. You have the power cord right here. You got the speaker connector right here. So with all the connections here, you have the HDMI ARC, which again, the LSXs don't have, but the LSX2s have it. So yeah, the LSX2s have this, but they're also more expensive than this. If you can find, yeah, if I'm talking about this price range where you can kind of find these ones like secondhand at a good price. If you can find them secondhand at a good price, then the Klipsch the Fives have more functionality, because you cannot find LSX2s at this price. So at $500 I got this for, you can't find LSX2s for this price. You can only find the LSX1s, and they don't have the HDMI ARC. So we have to make a a price comparison here at this price point. I think the Klipsch's do offer more functionality. For the source, wait, this is service, sorry. Service, yeah, this one is not for anything. It's just to service the Klipsch, maybe update the firmware or something. This is primary. So I think primary is where the master speaker is located, because this one is driving the speaker. This is just a slave passive speaker. So I think depending on where you want to put which speaker, like you might want to have this master speaker on the left side or the right side, you have to indicate here which one you want to be the primary speaker that's driving the other one. So yeah, I guess that will affect which one the sound is thinking is left or right. It might be affecting other things too, but yeah. Bluetooth pairing button right here. Phono input jack, which actually you can switch from phono to line if you don't want it to use the phono preamp. I'm going to be using it for my turntable, so I will be using the phono preamp, but yeah, there's also, if you don't have a turntable or something, you don't want to use it, then you can just switch it to line. Or if your turntable already has a phono preamp, then you can just use that. Line input. There is another aux input here, which is the 3.5 millimeter. So if you don't want to use the RCA, you can also use the 3.5 here. There's a subwoofer out here, and there's an optical in and a USB audio in. So this is for the computer, and this is for older TVs. This is the ground for connecting your ground wire for a turntable. So it really has pretty much everything I was asking for. In terms of the actual feature set for this price, it does have more than the Kef LSX. Because like I said, you cannot find the Kef LSX2s for this price. You can only find the ones, which I have showed already. But those ones doesn't have as much functionality as this. Those don't have HDMI ARC, nor do they have a USB audio input. So yeah, I think at least definitely in terms of the connections, Klipsch the Fives definitely have more than the LSXs. In terms of the how big it is, I think the amount of sound it outputs, I also am pretty sure these are going to beat the LSXs. I mean, the LSXs are good for the size, right? They're very nice, compact, small speakers, and they output a lot of good sound for their price, for their size. But these ones are just bigger speakers. I mean, there's only so much you can do with smaller speakers, right? So the Kef LSXs, even though Kef managed to extract a lot of performance out of that size, they're not going to beat the Klipsch the Fives, because I mean, there's only so much you can do with smaller speakers, right? These are just bigger speakers. They're going to output, they're going to move a lot more air. So yeah, but what I'm interested to hear is what you guys think of the performance difference here. Because while these speakers are definitely bigger and can move more air, that doesn't necessarily mean the sound quality itself is better. It just means it can go louder, but is the actual quality very good as the Kefs? Because the Kefs, what I noticed is they have a very refined sound quality. So obviously Kef tuned their drivers really well, that UniQ driver array. They had a lot of R&D, they tuned that really well. Sounds very smooth and refined. Can the Klipsch kind of match up to that sound quality? Because we know with the size difference here, the Klipsch the Fives are going to be louder than the Kef LSXs, but I mean, yeah, sure, for a bigger room, that's better, but is the actual quality of the sound better? Then that's something we'll have to see. Is there, does it sound as detailed? Does it sound as refined? So that's what I'll find out here in this video. So yeah, I'm going to set up this, I'm going to set up the Fives, and then I'll be playing from Bluetooth, which is how I did things with the Kefs. So yeah, after this, I'm going to play some songs using the Kefs, using Bluetooth input, and then I'll be playing from the Klipsch's using Bluetooth input, because that's my main use case for these speakers in my bedroom, I think. Then the phono input is just a secondary thing, which I can use to play vinyl. But yeah, I think the main thing is actually the Kef LSXs I don't think has a phono input either. So that's another thing that the Klipsch the Fives have over the Kefs. So yeah, after this, I'll be hooking up the Kef LSXs to my Bluetooth, and I'll also be hooking up the Klipsch the Fives to my Bluetooth, and then we'll be comparing them, and you guys let me know if you guys can hear any significant quality differences and which one do you guys prefer out of the two? I will tell you one thing is that the Klipsch the Fives do have more different inputs and more functionality for sure. HDMI ARC and phono input actually, and USB input. These are the three the Kefs don't have. Again, for the same price range. So yeah, then of course these are bigger, so they do have bigger drivers. But yeah, we'll see how the sound quality differences actually compare, because I'm interested to see not just the power of the Klipsch, which I think is more, but just if the Klipsches can actually match up to the Kefs in sound quality. In addition to that, I would like to also add the Kanto TUKs to this comparison as well. That's a set of powered bookshelf speakers I also got before. And then if you guys can hear differences, or just let me know which ones you guys prefer out of all of them, because I'm also interested in that too. The Kanto TUKs are actually around the same price. They're $800 US, so I think they deserve to be in the mix as well. So yeah, I'll throw in the Kanto TUKs in the video comparison too, and then yeah, play the same songs on each, and yeah, let me know if you guys can hear a significant difference between them. So yeah guys, that's it. Stay tuned for the sound comparison, and let me know which one you guys prefer in the comment section below. Yeah, another cool thing with the Klipsch the Fives, if you roll up the volume here, you can see that the light here, this is not only the indication of which input you have selected, but it also tells you the volume level as well. So if I roll up the volume or roll down the volume, you have an active indicator of how loud it is. So I find that really cool as well, that they basically reused this set of lights here, not only for the input, but also to tell you the volume level. I find that pretty clever. So this is a speaker system I'll be pairing with the Fluence turntable, and it's by a Canadian company called Kanto. So Kanto is an interesting company because they're physically actually very close to where I live. So I live in Vancouver, and Kanto is headquartered in Coquitlam, which is about an hour and a half drive from Vancouver. So yeah, pretty interesting. They're actually pretty close to me, and they're well known for making like pretty good value speakers as well. They're mostly focused on powered speakers for the, I would say, affordable to like the mid-range-ish. This is actually their most expensive speaker. This is their TUK model, which costs $800 US, and their sub-8 subwoofer, which costs about $260 US. But I got these a little bit cheaper, like refurbished, so I got this for $600 and I got this for about $200. So yeah, about $800 US together. So all in all, it's actually a pretty good deal, I find. So yeah, Kanto usually makes like these $200, $300, $400 powered speakers for consumer use, and they compete with brands like Klipsch, with Q Acoustics, Audio Engine, Edifier, ELAC. Like those are the type of brands that they compete with. So you can see Polk Audio is another one, I guess, where basically you're competing in the range where it's like a little bit above entry level, but it's like entry level to a little bit above entry level. So yeah, they definitely have some nice good cost speakers, reasonably affordable. But I went for their top end model, the TUK, for a lot of reasons. I was actually comparing this to the Q Acoustics M20 HD, but the TUKs, I think, especially since I got this refurbished at a pretty good deal. Tell you what they have. So actually 130 watts RMS. These are a powered speaker, so I don't need to have another amplifier. That's another thing I'm going to use to save money, because I don't need to have a separate amplifier. I'll need to buy something else. Powered speakers have the amplifier built in. So yeah, so 130 watts RMS on a Class D power amp in it. This is something pretty special about the TUK. These are one of the only powered speakers I know that have an AMT tweeter or ribbon tweeter. So ribbon tweeters are a little bit different than your traditional dome tweeters. They have several advantages. They actually move more air compared to dome tweeters, especially for the same size. And ribbon tweeters you generally don't see in speakers under $1,000. So even for passive speakers, like you generally see like maybe Martin Logan's, probably the brand that's most well known. Like basically that's the speaker system I'll be comparing it to, is my Martin Logan 15Is. Generally you don't see that many brands with ribbon tweeters under $1,000. So yeah, Martin Logan is probably the big one that I think of for passive speakers. But Martin Logan doesn't make any active speaker models. Like I like Martin Logan. I would have gone with a Martin Logan powered speaker if they had one, but they don't. They only have passive speakers. So with the Kanto, because the Kanto TUK is one of the only powered speakers I know that has a ribbon tweeter or AMT tweeter. Edifier, I think, is the only other brand I know that has one. But Yeah, Edifier is probably around the same price, I would say. But I decided to go with all Canadian brands, you know, might as well. And it has a 5.25 inch aluminum woofer. Yeah, Class D amp, has Qualcomm aptX HD, aptX support. So one thing is this has Bluetooth 4.2. It would have been nice if it had Bluetooth 5, but it doesn't. 4.2, I guess this is like a little bit of an older model. That's probably why it came out in 2019. Like the Q Acoustics M20 HD or some of the newer Edifier models, they're going to have Bluetooth 5 because they're newer. RCA line input, phono input, USB DAC, Link or optical input, sub out. So it has like basically all the different connections I was looking for. The Q Acoustics M20 HD didn't even have, or M20 HD didn't have the phono input I was looking for, because I need to have a phono input from my Fluence turntable, right? So, but the Kanto TUK kind of has everything, and I found it refurbished, so that's why I went for this one. Subwoofer, originally wasn't planning on getting a subwoofer, but I figured might as well, and I got this refurbished as well. Just kind of saw it in kind of a deal, so like kind of a package deal. I just thought, okay, might as well pick up a subwoofer too, because originally this was like 260 US, so I save a few bucks by picking this one up as well. And this one has a subwoofer input, and it's an active subwoofer input as well, which means once you plug something into the subwoofer input, then automatically I think all frequencies below 80 Hertz get sent to the subwoofer, which is pretty cool. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to have a speaker system that can kind of like do everything, right? It has Bluetooth, has optical input for my TV, has phono input for my Fluence turntable, and it has a USB DAC. Actually, I can connect it to my computer if I wanted to. And of course, it has traditional RCA inputs as well. So yeah, I was kind of exploring all the different powered speaker options. Not my first powered speaker. I think if you guys watched some of my older videos, you would have known that I had a pair of Klipsch RP40 as well. Or actually, it was the R40 PMs, yeah. I had a pair of Klipsch R40 PMs as well, so it's not my first powered speaker, but it is the highest end powered speaker I've got. And I can't wait to actually demo this and see how it compares to my Martin Logan's. So, first of all, you get the manual here, of course. So, you get some rubber feet. That's nice. Rubber feet. Kanto. Do this one later. Yeah, so you get some rubber feet, and then you get just like a thank you card right here. And then this is the actual manual here. So I think it's going to come in French, right? Yeah, of course it comes in French and in Spanish. Okay, so that's interesting. 3 copies of the manual. There's English, and there's French, and there's Spanish. I'm actually kind of surprised, but I think it's because they sell in the US, right? If they sell in the US, it makes sense to have Spanish, because there's not that many Spanish speakers in Canada. There is in the US though. French, you gotta have French, because Canada, that's one of the official languages of Canada. And then English, obviously. So, yeah, let's see. Yeah, basically it just tells you your standard stuff, what's in the box, and how to set it up and everything. So, setting up the TUK right there. It comes with a remote control as well. I think powered speakers usually come with a remote control. Yeah, it makes sense. You gotta like, there's active components inside of it. Or setup instructions right here. I mean, I might look at this briefly, but it shouldn't be like too much trouble, because it's, yeah, it shouldn't be too much trouble because it's speakers, right? Even active speakers shouldn't require that much instruction. Pretty straightforward. Alright. Alright, here is the Kanto TUKs. Okay. And I do like the size of these. They're not like too big or heavy, but they're big enough to produce a good amount of sound, obviously. Okay. Here's what else we got here. So many cables. Whoa. Cables here. Oh, we got speaker grills. Okay. All right. All right. So here are the Kanto TUKs, which come in the nice packaging. These are pretty much brand new, even though it's refurbished, but it's pretty much brand new. That's why I always get refurbished stuff because the refurbished stuff are usually in pretty good condition. You save a decent chunk of money by getting them. Yeah, I don't know why some people like are not comfortable with buying refurbished stuff online, I guess. But it still comes with a product warranty and everything. Usually, in my experience, refurbished stuff condition's quite good. Because it might be refurbished just because the box or something's damaged and, you know, not the actual product itself. And in my experience, getting refurbished has always been pretty good value. All right. Yeah, you still get a warranty with it, just a reduced warranty usually when it's refurbished. Yeah, this trying to get this out here. All right, I got them out of the bags finally. So I'll tell you guys what it comes with. It comes with a USB-A to USB-B cable. So not micro USB, a full-size USB-B cable. These cables are usually used for DAC connections, like USB DAC connections. So I'm not surprised actually that it came with this one. So yeah, this is a larger USB B input. So yeah, normally it comes with a lot of USB DACs, audio interfaces, like stuff like that will come with these bigger ones. Then you get, this is a RCA to 3.5 millimeter cable. So it comes with one of these. Yeah, 3.5 millimeter to RCA. That's an unbalanced connection. Then it comes with a pair of speaker cables, surprisingly. That's actually really generous of Kanto, because normally, you know, I've unboxed a lot of speakers, I've done reviews of a lot of speakers before, bookshelf speakers. None of them really come with speaker cables. Like, you gotta buy them separately. So I think these are decent quality. Not sure exactly, like, you know, how high quality these are, but it's just nice of them to bundle banana plug speaker cables. And, like, normally you would have to buy these separately. So yeah, that's cool. Then it comes with the power cord, of course. One of these is going to be the master amp, and one of these is going to be the slave amp, which means that all the connections are going to be in one side on this speaker, and then the this side is just kind of like a slave speaker, which just receives the signal from this one. And then this is the remote. So, see the remote. They give you AAA batteries with this remote. So yeah, you get AAA batteries, and you get the remote. And this is a fairly, it's a chunky remote actually. It doesn't have that much on it, but it's a fairly chunky remote, kind of like a chocolate bar. So, yep, you get the power button right here, input, switching between different inputs, plus minus volume control, mute, of course. You can actually adjust the bass and the treble. There's separate controls for that. Subwoofer, I guess you can control the active subwoofer crossover or not. LEDs, you can control that. Reset button. There's actually two reset buttons. I'm not really sure why. I guess they're for resetting different things, but there's two reset buttons, a little bit confusing. There's a Bluetooth button right here, and there's a play, pause, next track, previous track. So yeah, pretty simple remote to operate. I'm actually glad this seems to be a custom tailored remote for just a speaker, which is nice, because you know, you get, sometimes when you buy stuff from companies like Denon or Marantz or something like that, you can tell they reused a lot of their remotes, or Yamaha, right? You can tell they reused a lot of their stuff. But for Kanto, it's like this, they only make speakers, right? So it's nice to have that. Pretty minimalistic remote. I think just has the basic functionality, which is all they need. And yeah, the Kanto TUK speakers. So let's take a look at these. So I think overall they're very nice looking speakers. You can tell that they have a ribbon tweeter up here, also called an air motion transformer, or AMT tweeter. My Martin Logan's has these as well, except they're called folded motion tweeters, using their technology. This is a 5.25 inch aluminum cone woofer. Pretty decent. I mean, a lot of bookshelf speakers from other companies, they might have their own proprietary, you know, material, whatever that they use on their woofer, but aluminum has always been a pretty popular one. I think Kevlar is another one that's used fairly often as well. Any kind of like rigid material is what rigid light material, I should say, is what these speaker companies like to use on their woofers. Then you have a headphone jack right here, so it has a built-in headphone amp as well. Probably won't be using this, but it's nice to have it. And then you have the switch here, and I think you can press it on and off too. Yeah, you can press on, off. I think this can switch between, if I'm thinking correctly how these usually work, is you can press to switch between the volume adjustment and the input adjustment. There being a total of 5 different inputs here: phono input for turntable, RCA input for regular analog input, optical input for your TV, and USB input for a PC, and a Bluetooth input. So 5 different inputs here. Pretty easy, minimalistic type of controls to switch between them. And then at the back here, you have all the inputs here. So you have the ground here. This is for connecting a turntable. So yeah, this is a built-in phono preamp. Built-in phono preamp input right here. So this is what I'll be using with my Fluence turntable. So yeah, so I don't have to use an external phono preamp, although a lot of people will go with an external phono preamp anyways, because you know they might think it's better quality or something like that. For me, again, I'm not going to be like, I don't want to spend too much money on vinyl, and that's why I'm kind of downgrading my setup here. So no phono preamp externally for me. I'm just going to be using the internal built-in phono preamp for these speakers. RCA input here, subwoofer out, which I'll be connecting to this sub 8, and optical input, which I'll be using to connect to my TV as well. USB input, I won't be using that one because I already have a desktop setup already. These are speaker terminals, right, to connect the cables to this other speaker. This is the power plug right here, and then the power switch right here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. There is a lot of different inputs on here. And yeah, one of the reasons I chose the Kanto model, for a few reasons, but the major reasons are this one has all the inputs I wanted, had the phono input, had the USB, DAC built in case I wanted to connect it to my computer. I can do that. It has the optical for my TV. Yeah, basically has all the inputs I want. Oh yeah, there's also a charging input here, interestingly enough. So there's a USB-A charging input. I guess you can use it to charge some devices or phones or something like that. Really cool that they have that. I was not expecting that at all. So that's cool that they have that input. So this has more inputs compared to even, a lot of other powered bookshelf speakers. So it's one reason I got the Kanto TUKs. And yeah, like the other reason is just because of this tweeter right here, this special ribbon AMT tweeter, which, like I said, most bookshelf speakers under $1,000, and especially for powered bookshelf speakers under $1,000, I've not seen with this kind of tweeter. So it's really cool that Kanto TUK has it. The only other one I know is the Edifier. I think the top of the line model Edifier. I think that one has it. Yeah. Okay, so the only other bookshelf speakers that are powered under $1,000 and has the ribbon tweeter, I think, is the Edifier A80. The Air Pulse, I think A80 is what it's called. But yeah, those are the only other ones, and I don't think they have a phono input either. So this is like the most fully featured bookshelf speaker with a ribbon tweeter that's powered under $1,000 that I could find. So those are basically my requirements. This one, pretty simple. It only has one speaker input, terminal input, because yeah, the only thing this speaker does is this kind of like a passive speaker in a sense, that it's just basically hooked up to this one, and that's it. This one basically drives this one in a master-slave configuration. So I would say in a sense this one is the one that's like active, and it has an amplifier built in, and it just powers this one, which is like, this one's like more of a passive speaker. But anyways, I can reduce kind of my setup to this, and then I don't need to have an amp, external amp. I don't need to have an external amp. I don't need to have a external phono preamp, and yeah, I can just directly hook up my turntable to this. So it really does save a lot of other components. But there's always, you could always make arguments for separates versus built-in, right? There's different levels you can go, right? Just like with everything, like for home theater, you can go with just your TV speakers, upgrade to soundbar, upgrade to receiver 5.1, and then upgrade to full-on separates, right, with the preamp, power amp, surround processor, etc. There's different levels. Same thing when it comes to these bookshelf setups, right? You can go with just these, powered bookshelf speakers, or you can go with separates, right? Integrated amp, streamer, everything, phono preamp. It really depends on how much room you have, how much money you want to spend, etc. But at this point, I think I want to simplify my setup a little bit. I want to kind of downgrade my setup, I guess, because I think I have just too much stuff in my room, so I want to just simplify it, and that's why I basically downgraded from a setup that when I had like a streaming amplifier and an external phono preamp and another pair of passive bookshelf speakers. I basically just combine it into this one pair of powered bookshelf speakers to save myself some space and money. So yep, that's it. That's a Kanto TUK. I'll be testing these out. All right, so now I have the Kef LSX all set up via Bluetooth. You can tell because of the blue ring here. So it's connected with Bluetooth, and you know, just something I want to mention about these sets of speakers, because they're both separately powered. You do need to have two different sockets for these because they're both separately powered. So just keep that in mind. It is a little bit annoying because if you have a limited space on your power cord, this is going to take up 2 spaces on your power cord instead of just 1. Most bookshelf speakers only take up just 1 space. So yeah, I just have to mention that because most powered bookshelf speakers will only take up 1 spot because they only need 1 power cord. One is passive, one is active, but in the case of the Kef LSXs, both of these are powered, so they will take up 2 spots on your power bar. So just have to mention that if you have a lot of electronics, that might be something you take into consideration. Yeah, it is kind of an annoying thing. All right, so anyways, I will test out some tracks here. Just another thing to keep in mind. There is no volume button on these speakers, like there's no like volume dial here. It does seem to be a little bit quiet. I am trying to play at full volume here, but yeah, it does seem a bit quiet even when I turn it up to full volume on my source device, which in this case I'm using a DAP basically to control this. I have the volume up to max, and honestly it's not that loud. And yeah, there's no volume dial here, so I can't adjust the volume there, but it just seems a little bit, yeah, it's a little bit quiet for my expectations. Yeah, anyways, I'll just play my usual tracks, and yeah, again, it is definitely a little bit quieter than I expected, and I have the volume set to max on my source device here. But yeah, it's not independently adjustable here, which is a little bit strange. I was expecting there would be some kind of volume adjustment on the speakers, but there isn't.